What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Let us fire it up. I'm going to get so owned in this game. It's time that we get to the Steam Top 50 and seeing what the latest trends are. Gary's mod. There's TF2. It's usually around somewhere. Woo! Oh, it's snakes. Does it just have really high retention? This genre is still viable. Or you just gotta shoot his butt. There was kind of a trend for a while. Like that is just the way things work. We did it! What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Clark Tank. Good to see you all. Yes, observe my post-PAX voice. It's a little messed up. Yeah, lots to talk about, but before we get to all of the tabs, I think we should at least briefly discuss all of the stories of abuse that have been going on in our industry and in the indie space. It's a hard thing to talk about for sure, but I did want to lend my support to all the people who've been speaking out. I think it takes a tremendous amount of courage to do what they've done. These people have already been hurt, and they're taking on, even more hurt in order to prevent, abuse from happening to other people in the future. And I think it's a very selfless and noble thing that they've done. I hope that they are able to heal, and that their actions and sacrifices, and also the increased vigilance and awareness that result from that in people like you and me, will actually bring positive change to the industry and make it safer. I believe that it will. But yeah, I'm so sorry to hear about the things that they've endured, but yeah, I do believe that their courageous acts will bring a positive change and help others. So, it's a hard thing to talk about for sure. It's yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say, I suppose. I support everyone who spoke out, and yeah, I think it's a selfless thing that they did, and I think it will have a great impact and make things better. Because yeah, things are obviously not good as they are, and yeah, folks like you and me, many of us who've never experienced these sorts of things, we can be more vigilant, we can be more aware, and do our part as well. So yeah, I don't know how to segue from stuff like that to other news, but we should do our usual Clark Tank things. Yeah, I agree, Harbour. I hope that it will change things for the better for sure. I do believe that it will, and that, yeah, some people will that otherwise might have experienced abuse. They won't, because of the selfless things that people have done. But yeah, PAX this year, we just got back from PAX, as you can hear in my voice. It was certainly more a subdued PAX than any that I've seen before, because of all the news, events taking place during PAX. Also, my son, while I was at PAX, he had emergency appendectomy. He's doing well now. He's out of the hospital, he's back at school, and everything's fine. But yeah, it was one heck of a weekend. But yeah, PAX itself, I'll show you a little video showing, Brace Yourself Games action at PAX. We were showing Phantom Brigade and Industries of Titan, and we were also showing Cadence of Hyrule, which I'll show you in a second. Yeah, we had lots of merch, had a great merch station. You can see in this picture, Cadence of Hyrule over there. So yeah, it was our biggest booth ever, our most successful PAX ever. Our demos were great. And yeah, our booth location was great. We only really wanted a 20 by 30 booth, something, this thing that you see here with Industries of Titan. On the other side of it is Phantom Brigade. So on this side is huge Industries of Titan, the other side is big Phantom Brigade sign. That thing itself is 20 by 30, and then we wanted, a bit more space for our merch area and Cadence of Hyrule. but they had available, only a 20 by 50, so we ended up taking that, and it got us a very good location. We were like right next to Sony and Microsoft with Mixer and things like that, and we had some extra space then for a lounge and a press room and a stock room for our merch and things like that. And yeah, all of it was extremely useful. So I think we might get addicted to having larger booths. But yeah, our team did such an amazing job, and PAX went so well. But yeah, I've talked about it before. Like, why do people go to shows? Why do people do things like this? And in case you haven't heard it, I can go over it again. There's many reasons why we at Brace Yourself Games feel that it's worthwhile to go to PAX. Of course, it's cool to show our games to fans, sell merch to fans, things like that. But I don't think that we're ever going to turn a profit directly from those things. In order to pay for a 20 by 50 booth and all this setup and stuff like that, pretty much everybody that comes by would have to buy the game. I think possibly even more than that. So it can't be the value that you get from it. Can't be just that. I do think that it helps to build long-term fans for sure. When people buy your merch and things like that, they're much more likely to keep up with the latest things that you're doing. But there's plenty of other benefits, like the team. You're at home working on your game or Industries of Titan or Phantom Brigade, whatever it is, and you're hoping that it's good. People are telling you that it's good. Your all your teammates and stuff are getting excited about the things that you're working on, but you never know until real humans actually see it. So, having a demo there where people are coming up and getting excited about it's really motivational. I do think that having a deadline also really helps. It forces you to focus and make the hard decisions of what to cut and what not to cut. I think that indies, because if we don't have external deadlines and publishers and things like that, we can often just keep going forever and ever because we want to make the perfect game. But knowing that in a few weeks or whatever, a bunch of people are going to play the game in public, it forces you to really focus on what's important. So having these sorts of small deadlines every few months, I think really does help the team. But yeah, there's also all kinds of other benefits beyond those. Just having this booth, a lot of our indie friends and stuff came up and they were shocked, at the size of our booth and how impressive it looked and things like that. Because we're just a team of, low 20s people, 25 max if you include all of our collaborators around the world. And I don't think it looks like that when you take a look at our booth, right? So I think it helps press streamers and YouTubers and potential business partners and whatnot to take us more seriously. It certainly helps in that regard, and having our lounge and also just being present at these events and throwing parties and attending parties and things like that allows you to meet more devs, and the more that you meet, the more likely it is that you'll meet people that you really like and get along with and share dev philosophies with and things like that. And like pretty much everybody that we're working with now, not everybody, but a large percentage of the folks at Brace Yourself Games either came from someone that we met, at shows somewhere in the past 10 years, or someone, that was recommended by, one of our staff or someone that we met at shows. So, if you're thinking long term and you do want to do, to make a larger company than just a single indie team, then I think it can be really valuable for you as well. So anyway, there's a recap of PAX. It was also just, as usual, a fun experience. Great to be able to see your peers and see folks like Kit Fox Games, and I met plenty of other Clark Tank viewers as well. I got to say hi to them. It's motivational for me too, because there's plenty of folks that watch the Clark Tank that don't talk, or they watch it on YouTube, and letting us know how valuable it is to them, the stuff that we do. It's not just me, it's you showing up whenever we Clark Tank and lending your insights too. And there are hundreds of people, like literally hundreds of people when I go to PAX or Gamescom that say thank you for it. So thank you all for helping to make it possible too. And yeah, other stuff that happened at PAX, a lot of people were talking about Children of Morta, which I didn't get a chance to play. There was a line when I checked it out. I think it was at the Poland booth, but let's watch the trailer. You know what? At PAX, I often ask people, what's the best thing you've seen? What should I go check out? A lot of people said this.
Family.
Ridiculously pretty. Yep, I'll agree to that one. Here we go.
And how little we tend to care about that lately.
Huh. Give me a little bit Hyper Light Drifter vibes. The game takes even longer to get going. I wonder why so many people were recommending it to me at PAX. I wonder if they have like a different demo or something. Huh. 81% positive. Well, yeah, it came out just a few days ago and already has 500 reviews. That is 85 Metacritic. Pretty dang good. Yeah, seems like it's selling reasonably well. Yeah, published by 11-bit. Yeah, I know that they've been getting into publishing now. And yeah, another, I think, really noteworthy indie game that came out since we last talked was Telling Lies.
Listen, I need you to do me a favor, okay?
I heard a lot of press folks on Twitter gushing about this. I did play Her Story and was really impressed by it. Super innovative. Eclipse, was that just a rewind like you're talking about?
Like, love you.
That rewind was 10 times faster? Huh, I wonder why they would do that. I'll take a look at what some of these reviews are saying. Yeah, it's got mixed reviews, but all the stuff, yeah, Metacritic is really high, so I wonder what people are saying here. Oh, the videos are really long. I did play through the end of Her Story, and it was pretty cool. The way that it all worked out. So yeah, I'd be surprised if there wasn't something, pretty meaty in this game. But yeah, it's doing reasonably well. Let's see how Her Story did. Yeah, Her Story, it looks like Her Story probably will do better. Yeah, I think there are some mechanics that people who are super into games really like seeing new stuff. They don't want to play, just the same Battle Royale game over and over again. So yeah, that could certainly have an impact on the reviews. But yeah, again, I've talked a lot about like sequels, and I don't think this is directly a sequel, but it's a game in the same genre by the same author. And you always have to ask yourself, I think, are the conditions the same now as they were when you launched that first game? And because it was such an innovative mechanic back then, no one had done it. I think you get an extra boost because of that. I got a lot of people, me included, were like, I have to play this. Normally I don't really get into narrative games and whatnot, but I'm like, I have to play this. So many people are talking about it, I have to check it out. But if it happens again, I bet you I would enjoy it if I played it, but I'm less compelled to try it again because I've already experienced the mechanics somewhat. So yeah, it's not going to be quite as novel. So I think that has an impact as well. So we talked about PAX, but I also went to Gamescom, my first Gamescom ever, and it was pretty eye-opening for sure. I think, if any of you have been to PAX West or East, PAX West kind of has like 4 halls. It's got, on the 4th floor, it sort of has 2 separate halls. On the 6th floor, it sort of has another one. Whereas Gamescom has like 20. It's got 10 halls, and each hall has a top and a bottom, and each of them is about as big as one of the PAX West halls. So yeah, it's like 7 times the size. I think it's like around 7 times the attendance as well. Gamescom is quite a bit bigger. Based on my experience there and the amount of meetings that I managed to, productive meetings and press demos and whatnot that I managed to wrangle without even having a booth and just sort of showing up last minute at Gamescom, I think it is pretty valuable. So yeah, I expect we will have at least some presence there next year. And if you are in Europe and you haven't checked out Gamescom, it can be pretty overwhelming, that's for sure. So many hundreds of thousands of people, especially on the final few days of the public days. But I think it's something worth checking out for sure. So yeah, we're going to be spending a bit more time in the European side of things in the future, I think. So yeah, Gamescom was great, and all kinds of other things have been happening still. There's a lot of other tabs up here. So yeah, a lot of Valve stuff has been going down. As usual, they launch a monthly recap of the top releases. And so QB Factorum we knew about, Godhood we even played, Field of Glory Empires, oh I think we did watch the trailer for that, Earth Defense Force we did, Streets of Rogue, I still gotta play this one of these days. It sounds much cooler than I originally thought. It sounds a lot more like an immersive sim. I just thought it was some kind of city-based roguelike, but it has a lot more. It has a lot more to it than that. Nowhere Prophet. I remember hearing about this before. Where was it that I heard about that? Let's check out the trailer for that. Yeah, there are a lot of card battlers these days. I think you need to have a pretty good hook and very, very good gameplay in order to succeed. I wonder how well this one is actually selling. The visuals seem a little simple, but stylized. It's very good. Overruled is FTL-ish, okay. Sounds like my kind of game. So there's terrain and there's like tactical positioning, but with cards. It was No More Robots' best launch. Oh, interesting. Wow. So I would have expected higher numbers than this. Especially if it was No More Robots' largest or most successful launch. So yeah, this is doing less well than Telling Lies. Yeah, why has it got mixed reviews? Also 82%, and then recently it's worse. Are people not happy with an update or something? Too many annoyances. So it's not a technical thing. Well, permadeath is a thing. I like permadeath. Gameplay mechanics unbalanced. Yeah, I wonder what the retention is like for this game. Interesting. Yeah, it does seem like the games, the top-selling games on Steam these last few months are kind of selling a little less than you would normally expect. And I think we did discuss briefly on a previous Clark Tank that perhaps it's the Epic Store effect, because there are some pretty noteworthy games like Griftlands and whatnot that are launching there instead of on Steam. So instead of seeing Griftlands in that previous list we just saw, we're seeing other ones that might otherwise have been bumped off the bottom. So I wonder if that is having an effect yet. And yeah, I just wanted to talk also about Valve. They've been doing so much stuff lately. I've seen them at so many events. Alden and Molly were at Gamescom and they have a roundtable. Like, they have roundtables at all of the different shows they go to. And they are really open and they listen and they tell you all kinds of stuff about what's coming up. I forgot to ask if it was okay for me to share publicly some of the things that they said, so I cannot do that, but in the future I'll make sure that I ask. I tried not to monopolize the roundtable too much with all of my Clark Tanky sort of questions. But yeah, I feel like they're responding in the right way to the challenge from Epic. They could have retaliated. They could have said to companies like ours, who've now got Epic exclusive games coming, they could have said, we're removing your other games from the store, as a deterrent to other devs who might have been considering also going Epic Store exclusive. They could do that sort of thing. Plenty of companies would have done that sort of retaliatory action, but instead they are trying to just make their store better and improve discovery with Steam Labs, and they're trying to do more dev outreach and stuff like that. They're responding to the challenge by trying to improve and make things better for us as devs and for players. And yeah, I appreciate that for sure. Yeah, Kings, I definitely make them money, but they could have, it wouldn't take too many indies getting their games removed from the store for other indies to just be like, nope, I'm not doing an Epic Store exclusive. Because if they just taken Necrodancer off the store, we might have gone out of business, right? Yeah, pettiness is a bad business strategy, I agree, but that has not stopped many other companies in the past from doing similar things. and like writing articles to try and help people figure out how to, have the most successful launch you can. They're taking time out to try to help, and I just wanted to point out that they are doing these things because people for a while there were dogpiling on Valve for various things back when they changed their percentages, but only for the higher selling games and stuff like that. But yeah, they're out there pounding the pavement and trying to improve stuff, and I appreciate it. But yeah, so are the Epic folks, launching new features all the time, and they are certainly at the shows as well, doing the work too. So it's good. Everyone is trying to do the best thing for their stores and for gamers. I think it's a really good thing. The Steam library beta. We did talk about this a bit in the roundtable, but yeah, it's got a lot of new interesting features. So I feel like it might, if people have games that are higher retention, it may help them more. If people have games that they update a lot, it may help them more because in the new store, those sorts of things are going to be surfaced more often. I think when this new library, not store, when the new library comes online, we may see a shift in the types of games that sell. So we're going to need to pay close attention to exactly how the new library works and how it changes the trends. Because things like that can change which genres succeed and which ones don't. Because currently, games that have longer playtimes, many sessions, that have lots of updates, they're the ones that sell well. But the design of the store could change that and make it so that shorter playtimes, games, or ones that just have higher conversion rate or something like that. Doesn't matter about the playtimes. It matters more about if they send eyeballs to the store page, does it sell? That could change what kind of genres work and which ones don't. So we'll need to pay attention to it for sure. And yeah, Lars is in the chat, and he had some cool news to announce this week. So we talked, I think it was last Clark Tank, about his Steam diving bell prototype. And now it sounds like he is going to be making it at Valve, which is cool, so that he will have access to, the actual data in the back end and be able to make it work, precisely the way that it should. And yeah, again, this just seems like an awesome sign that Valve is working with folks like Lars and Ichiro and who knows who else to try to improve discovery, because if they were only worried about trying to make the best-selling games sell even more, they wouldn't be working on these types of things. They do. If you follow them on Twitter, folks like Tom G and Molly, they tweet a lot about games that they like and that they're playing. They play a wide variety. They're not just playing the massive AAA ones or the PUBG or whatever. I guess I can talk about things that I suggested at the roundtable. I suggested, like, hey, why don't you... they're trying to figure out ways to expose their Steam Lab experiments to more users, because they're saying, they've said in articles publicly that, that the data that they're getting from those experiments is slightly biased, perhaps, because people are sort of opting in. If you're already interested in discoverability, and if you're interested in the new things that Valve is doing, you're going to go to those pages. You're not your average Steam user. So the data that they get from people like us is going to be completely different from the data that they would get from exposing just a regular Steam user to that fire hose of regular Steam user traffic. So yeah, it sounds like Lars is saying they talk about the bias a lot. They know about it. And so I said, well, I imagine they're doing things like this already, but I suggested, why not two things? Why not in the discovery queue? It always tells you your reasons why this game was recommended to you. They could just fire in there every now and then something from the Steam Labs, from the recommender, from the AI tool, although you would then also need to get them to kind of set up the recommender to work the way that they want. And that ties into the other suggestion I had, that if they just had a sale, like they do their Steam winter sale and summer sale, and often they're themed around like a cool kind of new discovery thing, like a new way of looking at genres that you're interested in, or a new way of exploring the queue and getting rewarded for it. If they had a sale that just focused on, hey, look at all these new discovery tools that we got, figure out which one is the most, successful for helping you find games that you like, and incentivize people with, trading cards and whatnot for going through and setting up their preferences in the recommender, then they could expose those types of things, when it's not a sale time, just in the discovery queue, and get proper data for whether or not these experiments are succeeding. So I'm sure that they're not doing all this work with labs only to just let it rot in a corner and never test it properly. So I look forward to seeing the ways in which they test it. And speaking of further help in the community, so Simon Carless, he has a newsletter that's just sort of about the game industry in general, which you should certainly sign up for. I don't think I have the link to that handy, but if someone else has the link to Simon Carless's newsletter, you should all be getting it weekly. But this is a new one that is focused only on game discoverability. So he talks about some stuff that is similar to what we talk about in the Clark Tank for sure, but he also talks a lot about his experiences as a partner in a publisher. So he's getting things from a different angle than we do. Also, he has experience running GDC and other conferences and stuff. So his angle is different, and it's always valuable to get different viewpoints. And I've already learned stuff from his takes, and I think you would too. So make sure you sign up for another Valve thing. Happened a little while ago, but I think it was since the last Clark Tank. Now, if you want to change a release date on Steam, you gotta ask Valve for help, which is good because people were gaming it. They were trying to stay in the upcoming releases page to get more follows and wish lists and whatnot from that, and that was making a lot of devs angry. And so Valve, they listened and they fixed it, which is cool. I haven't actually checked in the back end to see what happens when you try to change it. I don't know if it gives you like one change for free or what, because on our coming soon pages for our games, Phantom Brigade and Industries of Titan, I just set it to like some date far in the future. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have to ask them to change that. So hopefully you'd get like one change. People shouldn't be burning that on, trying to game the system. But anyway, if I have to ask them, I'll ask them. But it's good that they listened. So that's cool that they changed that. Now there's a few other new tools that have come out. I think it was Lars that pointed these out to me. Definitely some folks on Twitter, probably Lars. This is a new one, SteamDB, which has been around for a while, a very useful site, has a new upcoming tab, which shows releases on a particular day sorted by followers. So if you want to see what are the noteworthy ones today, this is pretty cool. And it also helps us to check our assumption that a game with lots of followers is going to sell well. But anyway, this is a new tool in our arsenal, and it'll help us to evaluate whether this correlation with followers and success really is true. So something to keep an eye on for sure. Now, I read this a bit in more detail when it came out. There's an article, I'll post the link in the chat, talking about follower count. Articles like this often talk about how bad it is that there's so many games that are sort of below this threshold of success, and that there's more and more games coming all the time. But I don't feel like it's the case that if you made a solid game today, that you're much less likely to succeed because of all that competition that's there. Because they're below the bar where they're really competing with you or would muscle you out or something like that. And there definitely are not so many games launching every day that are big hits that you're getting muscled out of the top 10 or something like that. I remember there was a Clark Tank a few years ago where there was a few days, back when we used to do it every week, there was a few days where there was like 8 new games in the top 10. And they all just stayed in the top 10 for a while. So even that many high quality games coming out within a short period of time does not saturate all of Steam. Steam is so massive. If you make the right thing, I don't think the people who are launching these games that are not succeeding are harming the rest of us, really. Because most of those games, you never even see them on Steam. They don't get in the new, the popular new upcoming section. They are not taking any of your eyeballs away. The only thing that I've seen recently that seems like possibly a trend is that the games that are in the top of the charts, their sales results are possibly slightly lower than a year ago, but I think that might just be that some games like Riftlands and whatnot that are launching on the Epic Store instead of Steam, if they did launch on Steam, they would have pulled those higher numbers. So yeah, later in the stream we are going to play some Dicey Dungeons. Let's check out the trailer for that. Amazing music by our friend Chipsoul, who did music for Necrodancer. Yeah, I'm excited to play this. I'm sure it's my kind of game. I really want to learn how it all works. And I think it's just an example of you can make an indie game from, with a small team. You don't need to spend, a ton of money on it, and you can have great success, in less than a month. They've got 1,000 reviews. This game is selling extremely well. And yeah, all the folks involved seem like excellent humans to me, so makes me very happy to see it succeeding. I'm looking forward to trying it, see what we can learn from it. Hey Jesse, how's it going? It's impressive how much mileage Dicey gets from D6s. Doesn't the game have star power? What star power? You mean Terry? I guess Terry and Chipsoul, they're somewhat well known, but it's been a while since Terry put out a game, and a lot of the people that I've seen talking about it, like this is not that similar of a genre. I suppose that it's possible, but I feel like indies like us know about them, but I'm not sure if the world at large knows. So yeah, I'm certainly curious to play it and see how it feels compared to other games that we know succeed. Like, does it have high playtime? Is there a way that people would bounce off of it early? If it has low playtime and people might bounce early, then I might be surprised and then might lend more credence to your argument, Jesse. So yeah, let's take a look at the top 50 and see what is new. CSGO, you are not surprising. NBA 2K20, you are not surprising, even though you just came out. The NBA 2K games always do well and then have brutal reviews. Carrying on the tradition. Gears 5. Okay, so this is coming out in a few days, so this is pre-orders. PUBG, usually around summer. Dota. Divinity. I heard people talking on Twitter about Divinity. Is it just that the definitive edition is new? Yeah, it might just be this edition. Maybe they had a sale or something like that. Oh, Switch cross-saves for Divinity. I see. Interesting. Alright, well that makes it sell better on Steam. Interesting. Warframe, man, it's just a juggernaut. Always climbing. I don't know when we'll ever see it go away. Witcher's just here because it's on sale. Rainbow Six is always around. Remnant from the Ashes. Alright, this is a new one since we last Clark tanked, and it's been hanging around since August 19th. That's impressive. Let's check it out. Well, they did the mini trailer thing. Okay, perfect world.
I believe it's dead.
Destiny-like, but like fantasy Destiny? Dark Souls with a gun and friends.
Prepare to fight the root of all evil.
Yeah, it seems Destiny, fantasy Destiny to me. Which, hey, that's a good idea, isn't it? Okay. It was very well taken by streamers, also very active devs. Oh, interesting. Wow, look at these number of reviews in less than a month. That's crazy. Big streamers and YouTubers. Yeah, it makes sense. Seem like their kind of game. Multiplayer, a lot of them love Destiny. I know a lot of streamers that just focus a lot on Destiny, so if you give them a Destiny-like, they'll check it out for sure. So yeah, that reminds me a bit that we've talked about it before, the competitive moat that certain games have. I think obviously this type of game is probably too hard for an indie to make. I guess you could make a lower budget one, but I'm not sure if that would fly. But some RPGs, keep their hooks in you because your character, levels up and you don't want to leave that and all your buddies are on there. But it seems like some, Like maybe a Destiny-like, maybe it doesn't keep its hooks in you as deeply, and you're able to jump from one to another. I do feel like Battle Royale games like PUBG and whatnot are like that. The competitive moat there is not very big, which means that someone could possibly compete with Fortnite, as Apex did briefly. But other things like MOBAs, the moat is wide. Just learning how to play each MOBA requires so much effort, and there's so many people that you play with, it would be hard to get them all to convert. So yeah, online co-op PvE is a viable genre, and it doesn't seem like the moat is too big, so you could compete in that genre. But yeah, I'm not sure if an indie-sized game in that genre could succeed, if that would have enough content in it. But it's possible. It's possible. So yeah, good to know. GTA 5 usually around. Dark Souls up here because it's on sale. Spyro. So is this actually new, or is it just a re-release? I never played any Spyro games, so it's a remake. I don't really like, action platformer-y sort of games for whatever reason.
Hold your horns.
Yeah, I wonder how much appetite there is for re-releases and things like this. Remake of all 3 games? That's a lot of work. Very positive, 600. Wow, in only a few days, 600? Did they have pre-orders, perhaps? Alright. Well, I don't know how useful this information is for indies, but if you got a back catalog of old, successful games, just remaster them, bundle them together. Seems like it's doing well. Destiny 2 pre-orders on Steam. Kingdom Come is on sale. Elder Scrolls. Spyro started on PS4, so console skew. Yeah, has it ever been on PC? That would account for some of it too. Just never been available on this platform. Design-wise, it would be difficult to reproduce to player controllers and physics. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, maybe it is more risky than I thought. It's a DLC, not even a game, Eclipse. This is the first PC Spyro. Okay, yeah, well that would explain it. Yeah, when a game, especially a genre that was mostly only on one console, comes to other consoles or platforms, it seems to do well. Just like how Stardew was the first real Harvest Moonish sort of thing on PC. All right, Rocket League. Yeah. Why is this back up here? Due to Season 8 kicking off. Okay, lots of people streaming it, maybe. Greedfall. Alright, this is new. This is coming out soon. Let's check out the trailer for this. Pre-purchase it. Greedfall. Uh-oh. Eat dirt. What even is gameplay? Whoa, where'd this monster come from? What? This is an unexpected twist. I thought it was all just humans.
Show them what gods are made of.
Huh. How does... It doesn't make any sense. Engage in a core role-playing experience and forge the destiny of a new world, seeping with magic and filled with riches, lost secrets, and fantastic creatures. With diplomacy, deception, and force, become part of a living, evolving world, influence its course, and shape your story. Yeah, hype music, what is gameplay? I am scared. I'm scared. How could you live up to that? And yeah, this is not possible, so I'm a bit scared. People are pre-ordering this and stuff, and it's selling well, based on pre-orders, but can it possibly be as good? Creatures.
Watch out!
Alright, there's gameplay. Was that the first actual gameplay? Are the rest of these things just cutscenes, or what? Eurojank is most used to describe the Stalker games, okay. Huh. Alright, well that narrows it down a little bit. RPGs from Europe full of heart and bugs? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, yeah, it seems like this would be amazing if they can pull it off, right? But that's a tall order, so hopefully they can, and that all these folks who are pre-ordering it are not disappointed, because yeah, looks amazing, looks very impressive. Okay, good thing we learned about Greedfall. I was not aware of that. Alright, Endless Space 2. I pay attention to Endless Space 2 because Industries of Titan is in the same sort of genre, even though Titan is more you know, city-ish. It's still 4X-like. It's just the 4Xing is happening on the surface of Titan. Total War Warhammer 2. Why is it this high? It shouldn't be this high. Did it just finish a sale or something? Patch notes. Okay, they did an update. That makes sense. Fantasy General 2. What? Fantasy General? Do you like draft generals? We gotta check this out.
Strategy game classic from the 90s.
Hold on. This starts with like low frame rate graphics and a Kickstarter-ish talking head without the head. I would not have expected this to be so high in the charts. So let's keep watching. Fantasy General 1 was a mod for Panzer General? Oh, that's cool.
Adding to the verbal.
Yeah, well, it's like the Tom Francis style explainer trailer, right? And I do think that it can work, and probably for strategic or tactic type audiences, you know, that's the right kind of group. They want to hear the meaty details. They want to know about the werebears. It's just a bit surprising that it's so Kickstarter-y feeling. But okay, yeah, if Slytherin has, you know, a following for these types of games, then it totally makes sense. And yeah, I do think this type of explainer game works well for this genre. I would still make it a bit shorter than this if I were you. Oh man, get burninated. Go Trogdor. Review count seems a bit low for... Yeah, you're right, Tomer. I wonder if it just... like pre-orders just opened or something like that, because it shouldn't be at that chart position with only 33. But if it just started pre-orders recently, then that could be why. Alright, Dead by Daylight, it's been around lately, and River City Girls, this is new, let's check it out. These pixels, and vocals, and anime, everything that I like. Get park benched, sir. I just wish, why didn't they have sound effects in that trailer? When that guy got park benched, I wanted to hear it and feel it. Dang it. The boyfriends get kidnapped. Oh, sweet. They are the protagonists of River City Ransom. Excellent. And yeah, awesome to see 30 bucks. Awesome to see it doing well already. Yeah, it launched yesterday and it's still in the top charts. Congrats. Way forward. Final Fantasy XIV Online is usually around. Rust. What happened? Did you update or something? Rust is usually in the charts, but they just had a small update. Or Monster Hunter World. Hunt Showdown. What's this? Crytek. What? Player versus co-op versus, you know, computer zombies? Or is there actually PvP?
Was that hype rock?
That looks like maybe PvP. PvPvE. 2v2v2. Huh. There's so many, kind of like smaller scale multiplayer games like Dead by Daylight and stuff coming out these days. It's interesting.
That's cool.
It seems like there's... I think this could be a thing that's viable for indies. Obviously, Dead by Daylight is not a super huge game. But like there is a group of people, like when you're trying to figure out what's viable, you figure out like who are these people and what are they playing and why. And I think that there's a group of people that like to play, you know, with a small group of their friends and have different FPS-ish or third-person shooter experiences, just like a unique one. And you know, Dead by Daylight was a totally unique thing. This looks like it's different, right? Like, oh, let's just try this one out. If it's got a new twist, if it feels different and distinct, I think it's entirely viable. Small player counts as friendly for streamer groups. Yes. Yeah, that may be part of it, is that streamers are really into this sort of thing with their, you know, streamers often have a group of 2 or 3 friends that they play with. So yeah, this is, holy smokes, 28,000? Was this in early access? It was. Okay, so when did it come out, or is it still in early access? Okay, it was previously in early access, because like, there's no way it could have that many reviews in that number of days. That would be bonkers. But still, even the game that was in early access, 30,000 reviews is a ton. That's like Dead by Daylight kind of numbers. So yeah, I think as an indie, if you come up with a unique twist on this genre, it could work. And like, holy smokes, the pie there is big. Although I do think it's more technically demanding than many indies are used to because of the multiplayer. So, yeah, this genre is viable and possibly targetable by the right team of indies. Green Hell? What are you? There's a lot of new stuff. What is this game exactly? It looks survivally. Bees. Capybara. Fresh wounds. Birthday cakes. Hospitals. What is... Excavators.
You think I was worth it?
Wow, they're doing the old mystery hook there. They're just showing you weird juxtapositions of things, giving you confusing VO like that. I think I was worth it. Was this early access? How did it get this many reviews in one day? It was. Show graph. Okay, so like almost exactly a year. Alright, so that number of reviews in a year is pretty good, but it's not like crazy hit. It's like, depends on team size. Small team, that would be very good. Okay, so survivally games, still reasonably viable. And yeah, I do think that the way they did the tease in the trailer there of just like, what even is this? What's happening? Left you curious. So, you know, normally I don't read this description for every game, but because that was weird, I checked it out. So, well done. Alright, Black Desert Online. Dragon Ball is just on sale. Children of Morta we already did. Tekken's on sale. TF2. New Truck. Ni no Kuni. Cyberpunk. I think this went down a bit since our last Clark Tank its position, but still making a ton of money just in pre-orders. It's pretty bonkers. Why did it bump like this? Tropico 6 on sale. Oh, a bunch of stuff on sale here. War Thunder. Sale. Space Engineers. Wow, tons of sales. Dragon Ball. Starpoint Gemini 3. Okay, this is new. Wait, is that music really coming from this game?
Shut up.
Okay, get you with the music. So it's like he's a space dandy, kind of a roguish guy, I guess. He likes fast spaceships. Getting into trouble. Jonathan Bold is a charming, trigger-happy space buccaneer with impeccable taste in ladies and a talent for finding trouble. I don't know if these types of characters are you know, really appropriate these days. His digital companion, Ada, is always ready to save the day, but settling the bar tab and facing different aliens in shady situations is best left for real wannabe heroes. What? I don't get that last sentence. But, yeah, Everspace did extremely well. Rebel Galaxy is on Epic Store. GOG is giving Starport Gemini 2 if you buy 3 from them. Yeah, I've never played any of these games. Did the previous ones do really well? I feel a bit like space shootery stuff on its own is not enough these days, even if it feels good and looks good. I feel like Everspace, okay, so like Everspace is basically the most successful recent game in this genre, and you know, 5,000 reviews is good. It's not a mega hit, it's like a moderate hit. And Everspace had like the roguelike elements and stuff, so I feel like it's and also it looks better. So I'm not sure if this is a genre that I would target myself. Because like you have to do extremely well, you know, make an amazing game, and I think they also did really well from streaming on Steam and stuff like that, in order to have like, you know, a moderate hit. It looks great. Yeah, it's crowded, but also I think that just the audience size is not huge. This genre is audiovisual focused. Yeah, well, I think yeah, people who are into this probably would prefer to play something like Eve or even No Man's Sky, because a lot of people who like these types of space games, they just like the fantasy, and the fantasy isn't really just going around shooting things for 10 hours. It's like being a space person who owns ships and travels to new worlds and whatnot, and I think you get that fantasy better from Eve or from No Man's Sky or other similar games. So, you know, I think Obviously, Everspace did succeed. I just think it's not a huge audience. Okay, Endless Legends on sale. It's weird. I don't recall a time where we saw so many games that were just on sale in the top 50. And I wonder if that says something about what we were saying before, that there's kind of a lull in launches of, sort of big successful games. Because normally, there's always a ton of games on sale, but normally they get sort of pushed down by the volume of releases and, things just hanging around high in the charts. So Endless Legend, the original, is on sale. Civ, just hanging out. Armello is on sale. Lords Mobile, it's a free-to-play game. Path of Exile. The Dark Pictures Anthology, Man of Medan. What are you?
Alone.
Is there some
And yes, in
live action?
darker word,
So you play it with randos online?
the thought
Or with friendos?
that there is someone else out there.
I guess rando is the opposite of friendo.
Story attached.
Oh, you pressed Y wrong. Oh, I hope you close your eyes, kids. It all happened at the end there. Why is it called Man of Medan? I feel like this... I almost didn't even want to click on this game because of their thumbnail thing was not great. Medan is a ship, but still, I don't know that from just the title. I feel like it's not a great title. Yeah, okay, well, that's a lot of reviews in a week. Not early access. So this is a viable thing, and I guess if they have a franchise of it where they're doing multiple and, in sequels of indie games where it's just about the hook, it's hard. But if it's narrative and people want more of that narrative or a new narrative, then sequels can possibly work. So maybe that's what they're doing here. Word of mouth and relying on players that liked Until Dawn. Yeah, it makes sense. Well, and dark horror-ish things seem to work well on Steam, but also on Twitch and whatnot. So yeah, this thumbnail, it just didn't look good. It looked low production value to me. I almost didn't want to click on it. Train Simulator just on sale. 2 Point Hospital, just selling well, I guess. Naruto's on sale. God Eater and City Skylines. So, all right, there was definitely some surprises in there and new things that we learned about. All right, let's do a few more things before we get to playing some Dicey Dungeons. Top wishlist chart, let's check it out. Cyberpunk, unsurprisingly, at the top, and Halo Master Chief. They're probably going to be duking it out for ages. Vampire, any of these other ones surprising? Destiny 2 should be higher. Dwarf Fortress still going strong. That is awesome. Let's check out what is Indivisible. Animes. As Death and Darkness return to Loka. It looks pretty cool. Indivisible is a hand-drawn action RPG platformer from Lab Zero, created as a critically acclaimed Skullgirls. Aha! It makes sense now. And now we check out new and trending, just to make sure we didn't miss anything. Did we talk about this? This is like the pinball game, right? Let's watch it again anyway. This Merchant Life. Okay, that just sounds cool. NBA, the light keeps us safe. Okay, I'm pretty sure we talked about that one before. Sin Slayers. Some kind of RPG. River City Girls. Looks awesome. Fantasy General, we covered that. Pester Quest. Got 110 reviews. That's pretty good. And we talked about Spyro. Alright, let's check these out, and we'll move along. Creature in the Well. Yeah, this is that sweet pinball action game. Such a weird mechanic, but why not? Pinball is satisfying. Things going bing bong. I don't totally get how you do it, but I would try. Also just looks cool. Yeah, so this is the type of game where, that's a hook. The pinball, chopping the pinballs with your sword, that's a hook for sure, but I'm not sure how strong of a hook it is. I hope it does well, of course. I always hope that indie games do well, but yeah, it feels to me like maybe the hook is not quite powerful enough. Unlock the power of an ancient facility and face the ominous all-seeking creature in this unique pinball-inspired hack and slash.
Hello, I'm Adam Volker,
There it is.
director at Flight School Studio. We are making a game called Creature in the Well, a small indie title you may not have heard of. In pinball,
Okay.
breakout, and other ball-related games. It's weird, I know, let me explain.
He's pretty good at voiceover for a dev. He's like laughing at his own stuff a little bit with his voice.
Visualize each of them.
Okay,
Creature in the Well.
I get it now. Yeah, I feel like explanatory trailers, especially for something like this where you're like, how even does it work? Makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of games would probably benefit from having a second trailer that's explanatory, unless the game is mostly about the feels, like something like Hyper Light Drifter or whatever. You don't need to. And here's where you have the feelings, because you're looking at this beautiful vista. I don't think that would be so helpful. All right, Pester Quest, and then we're gonna move on. What are you about? Okay, it's from Homestuck People. Okay, that's why. So I don't even need to know anymore. It's Homestuck People. So yeah, I was wondering when I first saw this had this many reviews. Was it either early access or does it have some really unique mechanic? But if it's just related to the Homestuck fandom, then I think that would be enough. That on its own is enough to make the game sell. Okay, the Hypestagram. We always check this out just to see how many games have been coming out in the last few days. Usually the average is mid-20s, but this is a bit higher than normal. Let's look at the moving average chart. I'm gonna reload it just in case. Huh. It's like these last 3 years, everything was all the same. For some reason, September, always exactly this many games a day in mid-20. Yeah, everything connects. Why? In September, all the AAA companies wake up? Yeah, maybe. Well, we'll see. Last year, 2018, it got to this point, but then it slowly increased, whereas in 2017, it jacked straight up. Like this, I think this was due to Steam Direct. But yeah, this might have just been the September rush. So we'll see. It looks like we're going up at a higher rate. It's weird. We were like below, the last few years moving average for a while, but now we caught back up. I wonder what's happening. It doesn't quite jive with the other observation that the top sellers charts seem slightly weaker than usual. You think it's normal behavior? We're in the pre-AAA ramp up, but like, it can't all be AAA games, right? There has to be a baseline of other, smaller indie games, and it seemed like that was on the decline until just now. So yeah, why? Like we're jumping up above 2017, which is surprising. So yeah, I said down here that the Indiepocalypse was canceled, but maybe it's back. Maybe it's back. I don't know. We'll see. We'll keep watching. We'll see what happens next, Clark Tank. All right, let's do the Kickstarter report, and then we can play some Dicey Dungeons at last. Solasta, Crown of the Magister. Your Magisters get crowns. New turn-based tactical RPG made by the co-founder of the studio that brought you Endless Space? Endless Legend? Really? I'm all over this. If so...
You and your enemies will be able to jump, climb, crawl, fly.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be good. My concerns are that the setting seems a little just... It's fantasy. They're not innovating much on that region, that side of things, but 90K already. Looks like hopefully they'll make their goal. Okay, well, that's the kind of game that I like, so hopefully it does go well, and hopefully it does really do something that hasn't been done before in that genre. All right, Lo-Fi, next generation cyberpunk virtual reality. What does that even mean? You don't like the VR games, Eclipsed? Yeah, I'm also not much of a VR person. It's fun occasionally, but it's got vocals. There's so many songs with vocals today. We are in the future, Steger. How could you tell? It's hard to, walking simulator with occasional guns, yeah, or like flying your Jetsons car simulator. Yeah, it seems expensive, which concerns me. Yeah, well, they're already made their goal, a fairly modest goal, but yeah, I'm concerned about games like that just because. Is there enough of an audience for VR games that you could justify spending that much time on a game. Like, even the best-selling VR games generally make, you know, only in the low millions. Alright, so 911 Operator was a successful game, and now they're kickstarting a sequel, are they? Let's check it out. 112. What is 112?
112, what's your emergency?
He's coming! He's going to kill me!
What? Oh, 112 is emergency number in Europe? I see. Yeah, so it's got different features. It's hard to make that kind of pitch. Less gun violence, yeah, makes sense. That's the new feature. Yeah, it's a little hard to pitch a sequel like that if it's just like, it's like that first one, but more. It's feel kind of like DLC. It looks like, hopefully they will still reach their goal. Let's play Dicey Dungeons already. Finally. The only game show where you could win your heart's greatest desire. But will you fulfill your dreams or your nightmares? Let's find out with our host for this evening, and for eternity. It's Lady Luck. She's got a great foot. Thank you all my dears and my darlings. Welcome back to my labyrinth of endless terror. Will our newest contestants win big or lose it all? Yeah, the aesthetic is really neat. Like, you don't need to go photorealistic in order to have a game that's beautiful. You need to... Style is the most important thing. Yeah, it's more about creativity than, you know, just spending a ton of time, a ton of effort on it. Click on the chest to walk over to it. Okie doke. We did it. You found sword. Do blank damage. Okay. It's an enemy charge. Oh, it's a Space Marine. We'll get him with our sword, right? Drag your dice to the sword to use it. Because you used a 5, that did 5 damage. I get it. When you take damage, it charges your limit break. Oh, we got some fury going. We're all charged up. Oh, we doubled it. Fist of Fury. Yeah. No, even the tutorial's random, I'm sure. Yes. Battle Axe is more powerful than your sword, but it needs 4 less. Oh, I see. Okay, so you can get up to 8 that way. So you want to put your good rolls in. Can I put the good roll in first? Let me re-roll this. So we want to get a 4. We want a 4. What? And then we might not even be able to use it. Ho ho! Not rigged at all. So yeah, this is kind of Yahtzee-ish. Looks like it's not really possible to prevent damage taking. Get wrecked, sir. You can intentionally burn yourself to get the limit sooner. Yeah, I guess any amount of damage increases your limit, so you want to take like small amounts of damage. Alright, we can check this out, then we can eat the food. Oh, a new adventurer, come in. Welcome to Dungeon Supplies for You. I've got some great stuff in stock. Need socks, weapons, a small houseplant? If we've got the matchstick and the snowball, then we can do even or odd. Yeah, Iron Shield takes more space, that's true. Let's do this one. Huh. So let's see if it synergizes well with Snowball, or if Bump is actually better, or if we should just have 2 bumps. Don't know. Interesting. You need freeze against Sneezy the Hedgehog? Or is he a boss or something? So these enemies, you get to learn how they fight, and then you could change your equipment based on who you're up against. So that's cool, a mastery sort of side of things. What is this? Ah. I'm Ned, in charge of equipment around here. Oh, this just makes it smaller. It's interesting, the slot size thing. I didn't notice at first, like, what? It's the same thing, but no, it's smaller. That's pretty cool. Just letting you have another thing in there, then we could put a bump back in. What happens if you upgrade matchstick? Oh, so it's anything and then reusable. Ooh, that's pretty good. That with a bunch of bumps. How would you upgrade a bump? Ah, dang it. I didn't mean to click that. Oh, we can only upgrade one thing? Shoot. Well, crud. I wanted to upgrade the battle axe so that we could put in the bump, but now we got a special bump. Alright, I like the snowball with bump combo. Although I guess freezing might have been good at him. Yeah, I should have just not unequipped that. Yeah! Well, not totally perfect, I guess. We put this here, this here, and all these. Get 16. And then we just do this. Yeah, so fire elementals. Don't use fire, use ice. Oh, we got an extra dice. Holy smokes. Why did we get an extra dice? I like the synergies are interesting. I like Yahtzee a lot. I played Yahtzee quite a bit when I was a kid, so this is like beefed up, roguelike-y sort of Yahtzee. It's awesome. Okay, what are we getting here? Spatula, flip a dice upside down. What does that even mean? Like, so if 6 on the other side of is 1? Okay. Like, physically, I thought it meant, like, rotate it upside down. Like, that's still going to be a 6 if you rotate it. Okay, I get it now. Alright. Got a few minutes, 10 minutes left or something, but, yeah, what did we think about Dicey Dungeons? I didn't play all the way through a run, so I'm not sure how long it takes. It definitely does not seem like the type of game that people would bounce off of too quickly. Fairly easy to understand how it works. So yeah, if I've heard from other people at PAX and whatnot that they said that it's not actually super replayable, which surprised me. Like that, if you play over and over again, it's similar. And yeah, pretty easy to get into. It just felt a lot to me like a very good game designer took Yahtzee and made it better and made it themed well for the current zeitgeist. So you people like dungeon crawlers and roguelikes and whatnot. And everything about it was really well done. The art is super stylish. The music was great. Sound effects, the writing and stuff was clever. It wasn't too much. It was just enough to make it seem like less like a bland game just about rolling dice. The dice were actually people that were tricked. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it just reinforces the idea that if even if small teams can make very successful games that are going to go on to make millions of bucks, it's still viable. It just requires creativity for the idea, and then yeah, the execution, of course, they did a great job on that. A randomized daily challenge, I think those sorts of things helped a lot with Necrodancer's retention and plenty of other games that have daily challenges too. So if I were them, I would implement that. I don't know about the PvP idea, but maybe it would be fun, but that's a lot more work for sure. But yeah, daily challenges are not too difficult to implement developer wise. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up. Thanks again for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time, chums.